Hello, hope you're all doing well. This video is going to be looking at how to consistently win more AIM duels and games in Counterstrike. We're going to be looking at fundamental skills that you need to improve if you actually want to have consistent results while you're playing. And we're going to get straight into it. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at is crosshair placement. We're going to look at how to give yourself the best possible fight every time and how to consistently, you know, perform at a basis where you're not just going for body shots and going for body spams because yeah, it's a game of milliseconds Counter-Strike, so a lot of the time you only get a couple of shots before the enemy kills you anyway, so you want to be having the best advantageous fight you can. So it's a little thing that I found when aiming and trying to increase crosshair placement, aiming a little bit too high rather than aiming a little bit too low. Because if you aim a little bit too high, I feel like you flick half a millisecond onto the head and the first 4 to 5 bullets go on their head, and it's usually pretty accurate. Whereas if you're aiming a little bit too low, flicking up's a lot harder for me personally, and you tend to just shoot. Whenever you see the enemy, you tend to just shoot. So if you're shooting, you're going for the body spam pretty much. So that's just something that I found helpful, aiming a little bit too high rather than too low. The next thing is like, yeah, just aiming head height as best as you can. I feel like this is a skill that you need to master just like any other skill in the game. So not letting yourself be lazy. Don't have lazy crosshair placement when you're running from site to site. Don't have your crosshair like swaying down. Always try and keep it at head height no matter where you are in the map. That will train your muscle memory and train just your fundamental understanding of like where people are, where their head should be when they're peeking corners, like how fast they swing. You know, you want to always be aiming head height. You always want to be giving yourself the best possible fight. Because when people are off angles, you're already ready. When people are swinging you, you know, you're just able to track left to right. You don't have to go up, down, left, right every time. So crosshair placement is a very big skill that you need to master, and the more you practice it, the better you get, and you'll instantly know results. You instantly see results if you're actively focusing on it each game. You'll see your headshot percentage go up. You'll see you're winning more fights than you're losing. You won't be relying on spray kills as much. And if you are spraying, you're getting a lot more headshots. You're not just like going for body sprays, 30 bullets. So yeah, hopefully the first one makes sense and helpful. So the next one is understand how you're peeking lines and jiggling. So how are you peeking the corner? Are you going for a wide swing? Are you going for a tight jiggle peek? Are you going for, as JAME calls it, a lunge peek, where you swing out and crouch? Are you going for like a stutter peek, where you tap crouch where you're running across? Are you peeking on the elevated line? You know, where you're setting up crosshair, peeking dip? Or are you peeking on the lower ground? You know, all of these things play a factor. Are you going for a jump bait shot to like bait out the AWP? Are you run boosting across the line? You know, all these things play a factor and need to be taken into consideration well playing. If you're versing an AWP, are you baiting out the shots so your teammate can AWP them? Are you just going for a jiggle peek to hopefully bait them out? Are you just going for a swing because you don't think they'll hit you? How are you peeking lines and why? You need to understand how you are consistently fighting lines if you want to have consistent results, right? How you fighting AWPers versus how you fighting riflers. How are you playing clutches? Are you going for methodical peaks and trying to clear out sites like each line one by one? Are you pre-aiming CT? Are you pre-aiming triple? Because you can, you're going for short jiggle peaks. You're clearing everything methodically. Versus if you're wide swinging, you understand that you're open to multiple lines at once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you've accepted that. As long as you understand the consequences, like the pros and cons behind your peaks, and you're acting accordingly, that's fine. But you need to understand, wide swing. Okay, you're getting more space and you're creating more space for your team, but you're open to a lot more fights. You have a lot less percentage to win some of those fights. Whereas if you're taking it slow and going for jiggle peaks, you can set up your crosshair accordingly. Like our last point, you're pre-aiming everything. You're in full control of where you're peaking. You need to be in control of your player model. You need to know where you're swinging and why. You need to understand the benefits and negatives behind each peak. And yeah, as long as you understand how you're peaking, whether you're going for a wide swing, jiggle peak, lunge peak, whether you're going for a stutter peak, whether you're trying to create space for your teammates, as long as you understand why you're doing each one of them, then it's fine. But the more you play, the more you understand, okay, this peak works against this. Wide swinging is a lot better when people are holding tight lines versus when people have their crosshair out more and they're expecting the swing. How have you been peaking angles before? Have you been peaking a lot in the elevated ground? So next round you're peaking on the lower ground because their crosshair placement their crosshair will not be on you properly. They'll be pre-aiming here rather than here. Have you been doing like a lot of jiggle peaks? Alright, so next round you go for a wide swing because their crosshair's here. It's not here. Just adapting your play in each round, trying out a new thing, trying out a different peak, understand how you peaked the last round, how you're going to change it to next round. Yeah, how you're peeking angles, how you're clearing lines, very important things to understand. And JAME made a really helpful video on this. I'll link it down below. So the next point is just communication. How you communicate with your teammates. Are you guys, organizing a double peek onto a rifler, or are you jumping across the line? That was a bit of trouble. Are you jumping across the line so your AWP can post up for you? Are you calling you've got triple line so your other teammate can just hold CT and run out? A lot of it comes down to communication in Counter-Strike. You want to be clearing and find as little things as you can. If you know something's clear because your teammate's holding it, you can just pre-aim CT. You save yourself half a second, Instead of like readjusting and flicking, now you're already on that area and like your crosshair's set and you've got the best fight you possibly can. So communication, listening to your teammates and understanding what they're holding, what's clear, what's not, so your teammate wants to scale up towards default. Are you holding their CT swing? Are you holding their triple swing? Are you going to molly under bulk for them so they can just keep their crosshair here and kill the guys he swings? What are you doing, and why? So communication on your part to help your teammates have better fights, and also understanding and listening to your teammates. It's not a solo play game for a reason. Understand what is being held and what isn't. When you're swinging and why. Are you wide swinging? Is the person in front of you going to swing out to make space for you? Is he going to try and drag the enemy's crosshair and then you peek tight? If your teammate's wide swinging, are you going to peek wide as well, or are you going to go for like an elevated like tight peek and go for the person that he's swinging on? Understanding that and like what's happening and why. This next point is just, it's pretty simple. It's like, are you watching demos of the best players in the world? Like they're 0.01% for a reason. All of them have not a lot of them, pretty much all of them have insane mechanics and they have a crazy in-depth understanding of the game. Players like Yakinda, Nico, like Flames, how they peak angles and how they actually take fights is insane. And it's not luck. You watch them play and you'll think, from a casual perspective, you'll think, oh, that's just lucky. That guy's crazy. How do you do that? But a lot of it is calculated. There is luck involved in games, but a lot of it is calculated and they peak angles specifically for a reason. Like Yakinda often would like tap while he peaked on certain lines to drag the crosshair down. Nico's very methodical. He'll just clear lines, have insane crosshair placement, and just have insane first shot percentage on enemies. Like, watch how pros play, watch how they clear lines, watch how they peek things, watch how they take fights. Are they going aggressive against pistols? Are they going passive? How do they peek in AWP? How do they play against certain teams' play styles? How do they play against teams that are methodical? How do they play against teams that are aggressive? What is their crosshair like when they're entering a site versus like when they're second in? Understanding that people have reasons behind what they're doing and sort of adapting that into your own gameplay. Watch how they do things and put in your own gameplay. You'll get a lot better and you'll have a lot more confidence because you'll see best player in the world doing it and it will give you more confidence to clear that line in a specific way. It will give you a lot more confidence when you're entering a site. Like this is how XYZ player does it and they're insane. So watching pro demos and understanding why they do things, how they do things, whether you can mimic it, whether you go in third person and watch them peek a line, whether you watch them trade their teammate, all essential skills to get better and actually win fights more consistently in this game. And lastly, I think one of the most important things is just having consistency in like an aim routine. Having a specific set of things that you mark off and tick off to help yourself be as fundamentally ready and like feeling hot as you can while you're playing. Don't have a routine that is tedious and you hate doing every day. You're not going to consistently do it. You're going to have bad days and you have good days. This routine needs to be able to be done every single day. When you're feeling horrible, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling motivated, when you're feeling demotivated. You need to have a routine that you can consistently do across the board and be able to track your progression through that. You need to be able to track progression. It's the same as anything in life. If you actually want results and you want to see improvement, you need to have something to match it against. You need to have something to match it against the day before, last week, a month before. Whether you're doing 100 or 300 kills in DM, it doesn't matter. Whether you're doing 2,000 aimbots a day, it doesn't matter. You just need to have something that you can consistently do to improve your fundamental aim skill. Like, you can improve your fundamental aim and your mechanics, and you can feel as hot and ready as you can before you play. Everyone's different. I personally don't really like doing offline bots, so I might do 5 minutes of it before a game, but beforehand I'll do like 100 taps in DM to make sure I'm aiming nice and calm. I'm aiming at the head before I shoot. I'm not going for body spams. and then I'll do 100 bursts, sort of practicing my tracking skills, movement, watching how people move, and sort of adapting how I'm aiming around that. And then I'll do 100 spray kills, because I feel like a lot of fights you take in the game are spray fights. You're not usually going to have like a 1v1 where you tap someone out. But yeah, I feel like 100 taps, 100 bursts, 100 spray kills in jam, usually like the sweet spot for me. I'm feeling hot in the game. Any fight I take, I'm feeling pretty confident. And then I might do 100 or 200 just random kills. So I might do taps, bursts, sprays, whatever like the situation requires, I'll do it. But yeah, that's sort of my aim routine. Might work for you guys, might not. But yeah, as long as you're finding something that you can do consistently and you can actually track your progress against, that's like the most important thing. I hope this video was helpful and you get better results while you're playing. I appreciate you watching. Thanks, guys.